In scriptures, the human body is often referred to as the temple of God. Yet it is quite an uncommon privilege for any soul to attain this sacred abode that houses the divine, as it is truly a blessing to be reborn as a human being. On several occasions, Supreme Master Ching Hai has spoken about the rarity of this phenomenon.
To be reincarnated in the human world is hard. You have to have enough human quality. You have to have affinity with the parents, yeah, and with the society, with the people around which you were born. And very difficult. To be a human, you need some merit. You have done something good in the past in order to be able, yeah, to be able to pick a human birth.
As a living temple of God, the human body is fully equipped with miraculous wonders that can be awakened in those who are spiritually conscious and have complete faith in the Creator of all life. Inedia, Latin for fasting, is the human ability to live without food. Since time immemorial, there have always been individuals who can sustain themselves on prana, or the vital life force. Through the grace of the Providence, Inediates, people who follow a food-free lifestyle, can draw the energy from nature to nourish themselves.
They live on the chi, from the ground, or from the forest, and from the sun and from the air. They make use of all that. Or they live on love and faith alone.
These individuals are known as breatharians, solarians or watarians, and they come from all walks of life, from different cultures and all corners of the world. Indeed, the possibilities and miracles in this life as our benevolent Creator has designed for us are endless. We only need to connect within to recognize our abounding largesse as God's children. Supreme Master Ching Hai has lovingly recommended a weekly series on Supreme Master Television to introduce those individuals of the past and present who have chosen to live food-free on earth. May their spiritual stories enthrall you, may hearts be opened and horizons be expanded. We now invite you to join us for part 2 of a 4-part series entitled Jericho Sanfaier, a breatharian personal fitness guru, on Between Master and Disciples.
This program discusses the possibility of breatharianism, or living without eating food, and is not a full instruction. For your safety, please do not attempt to cease eating without proper expert guidance.
Greetings, happy viewers. Welcome to today's Between Master and Disciples. Breatharians, Solarians, Watarians, people who do not need food to survive, have always existed in human history. In the past few months, we have been introduced to some of these remarkable individuals. Breatharian St. Nicholas of Flua, Breatharian stigmatist Louis Lato, Watarian farmer Pham Dong Luk, Breatharian dietitian Dr. Barbara Moore, and many others. Today we continue our series on another breatharian, Jericho Sanfaier, a personal fitness trainer. Jericho Sanfaier is a former professional rugby player who played for the Oldham Rugby League Football Club and London Crusaders in Great Britain. In his 6th year of playing rugby professionally, Jericho then made the decision to switch careers to do what he does best, working as a professional personal fitness trainer. After years of being a Fruitarian, Liquidarian, and Watarian, he gravitated toward breatharianism. Jericho shared with our Supreme Master Television correspondent how he transitioned from a regular diet to become a Fruitarian and Liquidarian.
So when did you originally begin making your break from a regular Western diet?
I think in 1994. I'm really sketchy about dates now because it's been so long. But I think around 1994, it had been about maybe a year or two after I'd finished playing rugby, I'd started studying. I wanted to do graphic design. And one day I woke up after feeling really bad, progressively bad, for a number of years, I would say. And when I look back on it, I can honestly say I always felt bad. Always. But one day I woke up and it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to feel so bad. I'd become so sensitive to the fact that I felt so bad. I could hear myself wheezing when I breathed. I could feel my chest had become so heavy because all the waste had just piled up and was like blocking off my lungs, etc. My thinking was sluggish. I was always depressed. It just did not make sense. Then the day after that, I decided if I eat one more bite or mouthful of a cooked meal, I'm going to throw up. And simultaneously, I had a strong intuitive drive towards fruits. And I remember this to this day. It was mangoes, 2 mangoes, honeydew, and a bunch of grapes, green grapes, and non-dried figs. Is what I went out and got back from the store. It was a huge West Indian store, one of those stores where you can get fruits from around the world and just live it up. And that's what I did. Went back home and I just tore these things up. And it was like such a breath of fresh air. It really was. And I enjoyed it so much because I could actually breathe afterwards. I actually had energy afterwards. I could actually think. So, like I say, I enjoyed it so much, I did the same thing the next day. Same thing, same effect. I loved it. For me, it was like finding the Holy Grail. It was like finding the missing puzzle that I'd been searching for so long. Finding that key that opened that unlocked door, that last unlocked door.
From then on, Jericho completely stopped eating meat and cooked food, and just lived on fruits.
And you just dropped it all in one day and became a raw foodist fruitarian.
I became a fruitarian. And my ego would tell you, yes, I made the change straight away. I wasn't interested in nothing else. Strict fruitarianism. And it was strictly fruits. No nuts, no seeds, no water, no greens. Just fruits. I just figured that, hey, if there's vegetarians, this will make me a fruitarian if I just eat fruit. And I honestly believed that I could eat fruit for the rest of my life. I had no fear, no concept of fear, no concept of doubt, no concept of making myself sick, getting anorexic or anything like that. So basically, that was how I started. Now, I did that for 10 years, roughly 10 years.
Since he couldn't find any information on the internet or support groups for raw foodists or fruitarians at the time, Jericho learned on his own to stay mentally and physically fit on the fruitarian diet.
And basically, I had to learn my trade by myself. I learned about cleansing, I learned about detoxification, I learned about emotional purging and how extremely intense they can be. And basically I got a digital camera, and once I got that, that's when everything changed. Because I started to record pictures, I started to record my weight, my size, I started to take videos of exercises that I did and stuff like that. And that is basically when things really changed. You ask any guru in the raw food movement and they'll tell you, when you're going through your detox, you just stay sedentary. You stay in bed, you don't exercise, you ride it out. That was making me feel worse. So I decided one day just to go for it and to get myself back in shape, get myself back in order, stop playing the victim, stop being so depressed, and just get things working again. And that's what I did. Like I say, I got a digital camera. I started getting out and teaching myself advanced exercises that I knew I had it in me, that I could do, and I started posting them. And again, like I say, that's when things really started to change in terms of being a fruitarian.
Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Between Master and Disciples will return in just a moment. Welcome back to today's Between Master and Disciples. Let's now continue with our feature on Jerico Sanfaier, a Breatharian personal fitness guru. From a fruitarian, Jerico transitioned to become a liquidarian, subsisting on the liquid of fruits. Gradually, he sustained himself only on water, and in time, just taking a few sips of water now and then.
Then I made the unexpected jump to liquidarianism, which was a very subtle thing, because what was happening was eventually over the years, I think in the course of 3 years, when I look back on it, I noticed my amounts of juice and the fruits I was having was changing. The amounts of juice I was having was reducing, and the fruits I was having was changing. To the point where it got down to I was only having oranges spring and summer, and grapefruits in the fall, and it was watermelon in the summer. Then it reached a point where it was just oranges in the fall, winter, spring, and watermelon in the summer. And then it just went on to being oranges the whole time, year round, maybe for a year, and then the last year was water.
No fruit at all, just water?
No fruits at all, just water. And even then, that was seemed like a very short period, and it reached a point I was just like maybe having just a few sips here and there during the day. And even then it seemed like, to me, the reason for those was anxiety.
It was natural for Jerico at this stage to experiment with being a breatharian, relying on the cosmic energy for sustenance.
So then you made the move from being a waterarian to a breatharian.
Yes. And again, I dabbled with breatharianism when I was a liquidarian, and this time I dabbled even more, in fact, even more in the last 6 months of being a waterian with breatharianism, and it was actually feeling good. I was actually getting it. And I was actually starting to think, well, hang on a minute, there may be something to this. I'm doing this in hot, intense, driving heat. The kind of intense driving heat that makes you think you can drink an ocean, that makes you think you need to drink an ocean in order to keep cool. So there's those kind of anxieties and conditioning that we have to deal with. Because when you look at it, you go to any fitness class, what do you see? People working out, and they have their bottles with their ice in it, and you know, these huge 1.5 litre bottles, and with a nice condensation. And our whole conditioning is, while working out or after working out, we need to drink. And as a former rugby player, that was driven home to us strongly too, you know. So I had to deal with stuff like that, and it wasn't easy.
But you've made the evolution. This
Yes.
has not been just one step. It's been an evolution.
It has, and I'll tell you right now, it's been a beautiful one. But like I say, I fought it all the way. And now, for the past year, I've been pretty much hardcore breatharian, except for times of cleansing. There's times when I've believed I needed to cleanse, to keep cleansing, so I did that.
So nobody can really, unless they go through the process of evolution and detoxifying and cleansing, they can't just go water-free.
For me, that was my downfall. That's where I always messed up. trying to go water-free. As years went on, it got easier, but like I say, I learned in hard climates. So I had to learn the conditioning that we have with going water-free, because basically going without food or fruits is hard enough of a concept for anybody. I mean, imagine somebody told you that today, from this moment on, you're never going to eat another meal again. That statement usually drives the fear through anybody, you know. So going without water for me, or the thought of it, was like the ultimate in letting go, and I fought that with all my might.
Thank you for being with us today for Between Master and Disciples. Join us again next week for the continuation of our 4-part series, Jericho Sanfaier, a breatharian personal fitness guru. And now, please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for Good People, Good Works. Coming up after noteworthy news. May your days be bright with God's loving grace.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/BMD.